Alright, so nagbabalik tayo sa ating violin tips and tricks. And for today's video, I want to do a video on vibrato. Kasi may nagtanong on our previous videos a few weeks ago kung paano daw mag-vibrato without moving the violin, even without the shoulder rest. No? So, as we all know, I don't have a shoulder rest. And paano daw ba magagawa yun? So, first things first is, babalik na naman tayo sa vibrato. No? So, a lot of people do vibrato na parang inaalog lang nila, no? So, hindi talaga yun yung essence ng vibrato eh. It's more of having control with the stagnant notes, no? Parang ganun siya. So, it's giving you more of a calibration when it comes to timing, no? With your metronome, with your beats. So, nagka-calibrate ka doon, no? And the thing is, if you're doing it correctly, there's little to no movement when you're doing vibratos, okay? So, meron mang movement, it's negligible, no? Halos wala kang mapapansin. No? So, for example, if I'm gonna do a vibrato right here, no? So, there are 3 types of vibrato, no? If you have already checked out my other videos, so we did finger vibrato, which is locked into your fingers lang yung gumagalaw. We have the hand or arm or wrist vibrato, sorry. So, hand or wrist vibrato, which moves this part lang. And then, the whole arm vibrato, which moves your elbows naman. So, if you look at I'm doing it, syempre slow-mo, no? Tingnan natin pag mas mabilis. If my instrument is moving. So sa fingers hindi masyado. Halos wala, no? With my wrist, there's a little bit of wobbling, and then pagdating naman sa arm, pero pag mas mabilis, halos wala. So, in real time, halos wala talagang movement, no? Why is that happening? Kasi when you do vibrato, it's not about your instrument vibrating, because in reality, your violin is already vibrating even without vibratos, no? Kaya nga hindi advisable to focus on doing vibratos when you're starting out. Bakit? Hindi naman talaga yun yung sagot. It's not the answer for bad sound, no? What you need to develop is good tone production, bowing. Yun talaga yung kailangan mo i-develop. It's not your vibrato that will make your sound better. Actually, it will make it worse. Kasi kung hindi talaga maayos yung tone production mo, plus dadagdagan mo ng vibrato, nagkagulo-gulo na lahat ng vibrations. Again, we are already working with vibrations. Diba? So, your instrument needs to vibrate at an optimal rate for your sound to be good. For your sound to be nice. Diba? To be loud. To be as great as you want it to be, no? Yung vibration na yon, nangyayari na yon. Now, if you're trying to do a vibrato without focusing on that vibration na ginagawa niya, syempre, magkakaroon ng pagtatalo yung vibration ng ginagawa mo, no? When you're wobbling your violin, and then the vibration is already producing, no? So, you should enhance that vibration. So, dapat yung paggalaw natin, ng fluctuation natin, hindi dapat siya maka-apekto doon, no? And if your technique is already solid, mas madali mo siya magagawa, no? I personally teach vibrato when we start shifting, no, with my students. Kasi when you start shifting, kahit second position or third position, yung movement na yan, the movement of shifting is the same movement you need when you're trying out the proper way of vibrato. So, when you're doing vibratos kasi, you're fluctuating backwards most of the time. No? Okay? Not all the time, but most of the time, you want to fluctuate backwards. So, you're resting on the bass note, no? Yung basis mong nota, kung ano yung gusto mo lagyan ng vibrato, and then you move back. But, keeping that finger in the correct position. So, ganun lang yung vibrato. Ganun lang kasimple yung principle behind it. you're fluctuating the note, no? Plus, you're controlling that fluctuation. Kasi nga, ang vibration naman is back and forth movement. So, you're just moving it back and forth. So, that's the basic principle of vibrato. Now, the thing is, kapag meron pang ibang movements, kasi yung iba, hindi nila mapalabas pa yun or mahirap talaga siyang gawin, no? Kailangan maluwag na yung fingers mo, yung muscles mo dito, yung wrist mo, maluwag na, yung arm mo, maluwag din. Diba? Ang daming kailangan mo nang ayusin before you really get into it. Kaya hindi ko talaga siya advisable ituro sa mga beginners. No? It's not gonna make your sound any better. I've always been talking about that in my channel. And I think other colleagues would agree. No? So, yung stability muna ng kamay yung kailangan mo ayusin. Your hand should be stable enough to move freely on your instrument. No? Hindi yung nakarely ka dito. No? Kasi that fluctuation will control your vibrato. So, kung mabagal pa, kahit pabilis ng pabilis, di ba? It's the same movement. It's just becoming smaller and smaller. So, yung basic movement nga natin is this. Back and forth lang. Walang up and down, no? Walang sideways. I don't know sa ibang instruments, no? I think sa guitar, ganun sila mag-vibrato because it's a different type of playing pag ganyan siya tinutugtog, no? Don't quote me on that, ah. Pero in the violin, no? On most bowed string instruments na dito piniplay, like viola, pwede rin siguro, you only move this way. Back and forth. Back and forth. So if you look closely, di ba, shifting ganyan din naman eh. No? So it's the same movement. And as you move this, palit lang na paliit, and habang lumiliit siya, you change the muscles that you're moving or the part of your body that's moving. So, pag medyo maliit na, wrist na lang yung gumagalaw until you reach the point where it's only your fingers that are moving. Diba? Yeah. So, it's still moving. So, you can practice that, no? So, hindi ko siya nilock. So, eto, arm vibrato yung ginagawa ko. But if I lock it on a note, for example, do sharp, ayan. So, ganun siya. There's a little wobble with your instrument, but it's not enough to really fluctuate yung nangyayari or disrupt whatever is happening while you're playing. Diba? Siyempre mag-wobble talaga siya. But the thing is, my hand isn't locked in. Okay? So ano lang ako, nakatipa lang ako. But I'm not really holding on to it. Kaya hindi ko siya kailangan hindi siya gagalaw na yung super laki ng movement. So it's almost negligible yung movement na. Then if I want it a little bit more mellow yung vibrato natin, you can move to your wrist. And then if you want it smaller pa rin, finger na lang, no? So, yun. Kung mapapansin nyo, hindi naman gumagalaw masyado. Diba? Hindi masyadong gumagalaw yung violin. Negligible yung movements niya. Even if I'm not placing my head on the chin rest, no? Siyempre gagalaw talaga siya, pero it shouldn't disrupt anything that you're doing, di ba? Hindi dapat ma-disrupt na gumaganon siya kasi siyempre maapektuhan yung bow, maapektuhan yung bowing mo, yung tone production mo. Kaya nga, it should be the last thing that you actually study when you're trying it out, no? Kailangan ma-level mo muna yung, ma-settle mo muna yung foundations. You should have your foundations, a good left hand, a good right hand, before you even try it out, no? Kasi, sa totoo lang, di ba? The only thing your left hand is supposed to do is do a proper vibrato and get proper intonation. So, kailangan proper yun parehas para maging effective ka, di ba? So, you need to practice first good intonation kasi doon ka mag-develop ng vibrato mo eh. Paano yung basis mo? Saan siya nakabase yung pag-fluctuate mo? Which note are you trying to vibrate? Which note you're trying to make the vibrato on, di Diba? And then your vibrato nga can serve a lot of purposes aside from being palamuti lang, no? Hindi naman natin sinasabi na yun lang yung trabaho niya, but it could help you with your timing, no? But it's more of a taste thing kasi it's not really something basic na kailangan lagi meron kapag tumutugtog ka. So usually you put vibratos on long notes, di ba? Because you're trying to keep movement within stagnation, di ba? So for example, if you're playing a very, very long note na it will become stagnant. Parang ang hirap mo sumabay. Even playing with an orchestra, for example, you're a soloist, di ba? So you want to put vibrato. So yung vibrato, sabi nga natin, we can measure it out. Like 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or triplet. Or kahit 6 tuplets. Diba? May measure siya. And the thing is, it requires a lot of control. And if you're just wobbling around your hand, walang control yun, di ba? Kahit paano na lang yung lalabas na tunog sa kanya. That's why you need a stable hand first before you try it out, no? Kasi, paano mo makokontrol yun? Paano if you just need, for example, you just need triplets? Ang alam mo lang, i-alog siya gano'n. Plus, it's affecting your movement na, di ba? So, ayaw natin ng ganitong movement. And we don't want this. So, usually, ang movement kapag tama yung vibrato mo is this. No? Hindi siya masyadong nakaka-apekto sa bowing mo. So, it's not disrupting. No? And again, I don't use shoulder pads. So, kapag may shoulder rest ka pa, mas stable pa yung vibratos mo. Now, it's becoming unstable even with shoulder rests, kasi hindi pa nga alam nung kamay mo kung paano talaga siya gumalaw. There's a lot of excessive movements you might be doing that isn't really needed, no? So, dito naman kasi support lang talaga yung left hand when it comes to holding the instrument. You shouldn't be holding it with your left hand, no? It should only be supported. And even your shoulders nga, di ba? Ang daming factors na pumapasok kasi pag nag-vibrato ka na eh. Kaya nagugulo yung techniques nung iba, no? Kasi they want to learn the technique na agad without really polishing all the prerequisites na kailangan niya for you to be effective when you're doing your vibratos. Yeah. So, focus first on hand positions, no? On proper holds bago kayo mag-try mag-vibrato. So, and again, if you're already shifting, I guess that's really, for me, the best time to teach vibratos. Kasi when you're already shifting, yun nga, it's the same motion, it's the same principle, it's the same movement. So, you're hitting two birds with one stone, plus you're getting your techniques and really putting them together nicely para magamit mo siya in any piece that you want to play. Ayan. So, kung nakatulong tong video na to, please do drop a like, comment down below other topics you want me to discuss, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also check out my course on Udemy and my music on Spotify. I also have a blog, Usapang Musiko, on Blogspot. Yeah. This has been Ryan Monakil for violin tips and tricks, and I'll see you on the next video.